some very choice words that I'll hold my
Oh
tongue.
God.
No,
I just modernized it, you know what I'm saying?
24 hours. You know, it's a fucking.
Scooby, have you ever heard of Anchor? It's the easiest way to make a podcast.
No, I haven't. Is it free?
Yeah, and there's creation tools that allow you to edit on your phone or computer.
But will it allow you to distribute to all your favorite platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts?
Yeah, it does it for you, and you can make money with minimum listenership.
So you're telling me it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one app?
Yes, it is.
So if you haven't already, go to the Anchor app or anchor.fm to get started.
What he said.
Well, hey, y'all, welcome once again to
is that
another
a little bit?
yeah. I was actually about to start the intro.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know why it keeps getting spotty with you, Shy. Maybe if you just kind of let the phone just sit, because sometimes when you get close to your phone, the audio will come clear, but then you start talking, and I don't know what the fuck.
Yeah.
Well, what about now? Can you hear me better now?
Oh yeah, you're perfect now.
Yes. Yeah, just let it sit right there.
I think it's the way I had the phone setting.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right, well, look, I'm gonna go ahead and do this intro. All right, y'all, welcome to another edition of Bridging the Gap with Bill, Scoob, Chef Mac, and now our new staff member, Cheryl Shaw Perry, who happens to also be my sister. And that we bring in female perspective to this male machismo.
Shit, just want to make sure y'all follow the Bridging the Gap social media at Bridge the Gap 77. Follow Bill Perry at Bill Perry. Follow Scooby the Kid at Scooby the Kid 252. Follow Shy. What's your name on Instagram, Shy? What? Shy Perry? SHYPERRY.
Oh, it's Cheryl Perry.
Carol Perry.
Cheryl SHA.
Cheryl. Okay. SHAROLL.
No, Cheryl, SHARO.
Oh shit, bro! I know that. I'm a horrible fucking speller. Just, but make sure y'all follow that. Y'all got that. You know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all follow Chef Mac at Chef Mac 1523. And we're bringing y'all this content. We're a little bit sorry for the blurriness. You know, internet's not the best in all places and shit. And I just hope y'all enjoy this shit through all the bugs and all that. You know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna have a good time doing it. And
Word.
So.
There she is. Okay. But go ahead, Chef.
Start this out like every other one. You know, how's everybody doing today? You know, how are you coping? You know, and through this time of isolation, that's what we're going to be talking about today. How are y'all coping?
I say ladies first.
Yeah.
Hey, Shy. So how are you coping with being in isolation?
Well, I have to say, and for my own personal circumstances, I'm a little lucky because I live out in the country, so I'm not actually stuck inside 24 hours. I can go outside, sit in the sun, enjoy nature. You know, we got a bunch of squirrels and birds, and other than that, you know, listening to music, and I'm finally watching movies that I've never seen before, and so. You know, just trying to pass the time and been creating a lot, and hopefully we'll have some things out once I have my T's crossed and I's dotted. You know, I'll put a few things out. But I'm taking this slow because, you know, have time.
Yeah, man. You know, I actually got your message, Shy. You've been starting to get into watching Star Wars. Did you hear what I said?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Yeah. And I saw Batman for the first time with Michael Keaton.
Ooh.
That was awesome.
Yeah, Batman's fire. Is that with the Joker? The Joker that died during the movie. I'm blanking on his name right now.
Jack Nicholson.
No.
Heath Ledger. Jack Nicholson is in the one.
Oh, you mean the guy that died in real life? You mean? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man, but Joaquin.
I've only seen
You've only seen what?
You
Oh
shy?
yeah, I didn't hear that last part. It was
You
yeah.
you said you only seen what?
Oh, I just only seen Batman 2 and 3.
Okay.
So the ones you guys are talking about, I'm just not familiar with yet. Maybe I'll get around to it. I don't know. That's a lot to go through. So
I'm not a
we'll
superhero
see.
guy at all, but those are good, like really good. And the Joker movie is fucking fire too. Damn, I only seen that shit in the theater.
Well, look, other than that and stuff, man, how is everybody's like mental state? Because I'm not going to harp on it on this particular thing, but I've told you guys that I've been knowing some people that are that this is really messing with this for
I,
them.
I'll I'll go ahead and speak on that and do a little self promotion. I'm gonna start doing motivation Mondays every Monday, where I'm just giving a little piece of motivation to myself, mostly, and to you if you need it. And I think during this time of self isolation, that we really need to be conscious of what we're doing. Like if you're spending too much time doing the wrong things, then you need to take a step back and make the correct corrections. And I've been personally a failure for that. Like when I got into isolation at first, I was just lazy as fuck. House got a mess. I thought I was off, like it was a vacation. But like if you get in tune with yourself, you realize that every day is not a job, but every day you can do the right thing. And that's taking care of yourself. And I hope that everybody out there in self isolation is making sure they're taking care of themselves and not letting themselves fall off the deep end. And me personally, like why I say I'm doing that, I'm making music. I'm studying up on cities where I can do tours. I'm doing a lot of thinking, and I hope you do too. You know what I'm saying? In your self isolation.
Word. Well, for me personally, man, it's like it's like you said, it's a time for self reflection.
Facts.
And thinking about the things that maybe I've shelved for a little too long, and now it's time to pay attention to it. Be it a musical project or neglecting exercise. Like Chef Max said on one of the shows, learning how to cook. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So you don't have to keep running your ass out here to these restaurants. It's like, well, hey man, take a little time and grab a few recipes. As a matter of fact, Chef Mac, maybe on the show, man, throw a little quick recipe at one of these cats, man.
Yeah, I'll probably post a couple in the description if y'all want some.
Yeah, man. These kinds of things that, will just, it betters you as a person. And honestly, it probably took something like this for us to look introspectively like that, to look within. Because other than that, people would just be doing their day to day grind like they normally do, go to work, come home, sleep it off, repeat. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? But now it's like, wake up, you're in your home the whole damn day for the most part. So what the hell are you gonna do? And a lot of people have been screaming stuff like boredom. And Shy, you can attest to this because we're siblings. I don't. How Pop would always say, if you're bored, that means you don't have an imagination.
Yep.
You're an imaginative person. I remember that used to really stick out with me. That used to really stick out. It still sticks out to me.
I like
Because it's like
that.
if you are bored, oh, that's inside your mind. That means you're not creating or you're not using your imagination. Go read a book, write a song, write a poem, do something that will, lessen that boredom.
Express yourself, type shit.
Yeah. What's that, Shy?
Oh no, I was agreeing. You can actually find a real good book these days, and if you can't find an actual book, read an ebook or something. That's
Or
some new
audiobooks.
thing, that people would get into. So yeah, audiobook, but I'm a little old fashioned. I like the smell of books, so I'll rather go ahead and just read a book. And I'm actually reading a book now, so
What
I'm
book?
just taking my time, and you know, it is a lot of time to sit down and relax and reflect. And you didn't realize, at least I know I didn't, just how much you were running around, and I was running around and doing this, doing that, and all of a sudden everything just comes to a grinding halt. I've never seen this movie, but you don't want every day to be Groundhog Day. I think you guys will be familiar with that. But it's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
the same day, the same day over and over.
Yep.
So you have to be creative, or you might want to pull out your hair or do something worse, and you can make the best of this time, I guess, if that's state of mind. A lot of people are taking it a lot of different ways. People are even protesting. So I don't know what to think about that. Personally, is going to keep your health intact. That's all I can say is just be careful.
It's so funny that, people are always screaming how they can't never break away from their day to day grind and they don't have enough vacation time to really enjoy life and all this kind of stuff. And now, literally, the government is saying, stay your ass at home. And oh man, but I want to go to work. I want to go. It's like, what? That's the shit you were saying you wanted to get away from because it has taken so much away from your life that all you do is go to work and come home. And then if you're fucking a parent, you come home and then you're raising your kids. So you never have a moment for yourself until you lay your ass in the bed. And then that's it. And you're so fucking tired that you don't want to do nothing else but fucking sleep. But now you wake up and got all 24 hours. It's a fucking better yourself and better kind of blues. Kiss my ass.
Hey, I agree with you, Bill. Like,
Yeah, I mean, somewhere. Oh no, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I agree with Bill.
I'm sorry. I thought.
Oh yeah, I think you have a
Well,
little
we have to
delay
just be
on you.
we have to be mindful of that delay.
Yeah, hey, it's something we're getting used to. This is like we're practicing social distancing, and it's a little delay. But I was
And
just gonna say
yeah,
I agree with Bill. Like, you know, uh, I used to wear this hat to work that said "Only the strong survive" on it, and I bought the hat with no knowledge of what that meant. And my boss used to tell that shit to me, and like now I really understand what it means, man. Because it's like you said, Bill. Like I remember being in a studio, sleeping in that motherfucker, and I also remember praying to God, bro, please let me sleep in the studio and wake up and record. And I took it for
right, right.
granted, right? And so, don't take you shouldn't take this for granted. You know what I'm saying? You have an opportunity of a lifetime to relax and get your thoughts together and then move forward and take your steps with a purpose from now on. So, yeah, that's my speak on that. I agree with you, Bill, 100%.
Word.
Chef
So
Mac,
I
though,
don't know.
what you got in
Yeah.
isolation though?
I'm about to throw something out that I'm going to put in the description. It's an essay I wrote on, what philosophical ideals are helping me through isolation. And I recommend that anybody listening go down into the description and give it a read, check it out. It may give you some ways to help you survive through this isolation because this is a hard time. Um,
Yeah.
but let's get into what we're talking about today, which is just the effects of isolation on everybody, on anybody, and you know, other sorts of
No
like
doubt.
psychology.
You know, I'm sure you guys are hip to the cabin fever thing.
Yeah, for sure.
When people start losing their shit because they're confined in a certain spot for a long period of time, and for the first time in the modern context here, we've never been put in this situation, and I think we're about to be tested in that regard, psychologically speaking. Because
Yeah,
all the stuff that people are talking about, being bored or being inactive and things of this nature, it's just like, well, again, as you said, Scoob, it's like, well, this is a time that you can focus inward and work on certain things that you didn't feel like you had the time for, and not let your that's to keep yourself sound. Like, to do those things keep you sound, because if you don't do those things, yes, boredom will turn into something that is unhealthy. And then if you're confined in a home with a lot of people, like, say if you're a family or something, then all of a sudden, angst comes out, and trivial arguments and bitterness and all this stuff will start festering because you're putting your energy into that. You're not doing something a little more advantageous to your growth, like exercising, or like y'all been talking about, reading a book or something that could get your thought processes to not wallow in this despairing moment.
like I got a homie that he went to rehab down in Florida. One of my really good friends, and he was telling me about some of the meth addicts that were down there. And majority of people that were in rehab for meth, and the they would clean their house, right? Spotless, right?
Yeah.
But after you clean your house and your shower's taken care of and you're all organized, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what like is
Right.
kind of forcing people into like, hey, bro, you good, bro? So like, what do you like? Think for your like, be yourself. Like, don't like worry about making money, though you have to. I'm not trying to like, though fuck capitalism. Shout out to Black Panthers. I'm not trying to speak on that right now. I'm just saying like you got to really figure out what you want to do, bro. Like, I remember, like, I had friends, the same friend actually, like, he used to get mad at me because, like, I wanted to go to the studio every day and he didn't know, like, what was going on in his own mind. And due to drugs, all that. But I say that I challenge you during this time of isolation to really find yourself, and and it's a perfect opportunity. It's like the joke, it's like the guy that's drowning in the water, you know what I'm saying, and the boat comes and the fucking
Oh
helicopter
yeah, the
comes
thing I
and the
told you about.
aliens come, and he's like, God's gonna save me, but he gets to heaven or whatever, and he's like, I sent a fucking boat, damn
Right.
helicopter, and an alien ship. You didn't get on it.
No,
It's too
well,
far.
actually, it's a rowboat, an Olympic swimmer, and a helicopter.
Word. I just modernized it. You know what I'm saying?
I do like the alien take, but same difference. Same difference in the
yeah,
moral of the
yeah,
story.
yeah.
But hey, me and Scoob, we definitely could go ham here. So let's try to open it up and give Shy and Chef Mac a little perspective on this.
Oh, well, I think that Scooby's brother was going to read out a list of psychological reasons that people should have, his list. So we can go through his list first, and then maybe come back to me.
All right, sounds
Okay.
good. Go
So
ahead, Chef.
I did a little. So you text me on must have been Tuesday this week about this is kind of the idea we're going to go with, and I did a little bit of research about the effects that it has on people's brain. Loneliness is a big one. More likely to feel depressed. And something I found out that's pretty interesting is you're more susceptible to illness when you're isolated.
That makes
Oh
sense, man.
yes,
Um,
yeah, because your
and
immune system starts to suffer because of that.
yeah, and then I watched the OG Twilight Zone. The very first episode is called "Where Are the People," and it's about a guy who um, he goes into a town and there's
No,
nobody in there, and I lost your mic, Bill. I think.
Now you good. Just keep
oh,
talking, bro.
I'm not talking. I'm not talking.
Oh, you're
I
not.
was
No,
just listening to you.
Chef
Um,
Mac, my bad.
Yeah. Hey, but no,
Somebody
but
tell
hey,
the
Hunter,
government, bro. Fuck.
before you continue that story, I just wanted to say real quick, you are really speaking me and my sister's language right now. We are big Twilight Zone fucking heads, and we're very
I,
hip to this episode.
I watched the Jordan Peele version, and I was like, I gotta watch the old one. So I've been kind of watching them all. Um, and there's a couple more episodes that deal with isolation, the lonely, and the mind and matter. They're all about people who are just. One is about a man on solitary confinement and
That'd be
on an
fucking.
asteroid, and one makes some people disappear. It's all they all deal with like the psychological effects of being lonely and isolated from everybody. Um,
Could
And
we
you know
argue
that
that
one
these things have been happening already, but this is just like poking a needle in the pus?
No, this has not been happening. I don't think this has been happening because, again, we've been in a day to day grind that didn't allow us to confront ourselves. We haven't had to look in the mirror the way we're having to look in the mirror right now, you know?
That's what I mean. Like, so, like, I have a cut on my foot, and I only feel it when I hit the cut, and like that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, people are, it's exposing. Like, I feel like the internet exposes people for who they really fucking are. This is exposing people for who they really are. And if you are a real person, then you love it because it's like I'm real. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. And like I think that like that can it can be scary, but like most good things in life are kind of scary at first, you know. So like, uh, I don't like to use excuses. You know what I'm saying? And like, not to I agree with Chef Mac 100%, but I don't want to like. I just want to make it clear that you shouldn't use an excuse in your life for your problems. You need to figure them out. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Like,
the thing I wanted to reiterate with when Chef Mac was talking about that episode, The Lonely, The Twilight Zone,
yeah,
that particular episode, yeah, it was about solitary confinement. And one of the other aspects of it was there would be this rocket ship that would come and give him supplies, like it would be 4 months or something. And, he would be so enamored when they would come because, he hasn't seen other, people the whole entire, he's on an asteroid. And the asteroid is his prison. And like they come and bring him supplies every 4 months when the rocket ship or whatever is close, blah, blah, blah. But he would be so craving their companionship and just that human connection. And
Yeah, you
like
could ask him to
towards
play
the end,
cards constantly.
yeah, and he had like a card and checkers and all this stuff and would want him to hang out. But ultimately what ends up happening is when they come the last time uh, back on Earth, they realized that was inhumane. And they had like and they discontinued that law, so they were coming back there to pick him up. But now another component to this that's not really about this, but what one of the it was three guys that would come and bring him supplies, and one of the guys was like really liked him and stuff, and thought he was all right, and thought he was even innocent, and he left them this robotic woman, and and he fell in love with that woman, right? And so eventually when they came back to pick him up, they're like, yeah, we're coming to pick you up, and you can bring yourself. And I said that they said he couldn't bring no more than like 5 pounds of stuff with him.
oh no,
But, that woman, she's a big-ass robot that probably weighed like 100 and some odd pounds. So he realized right in that instance, I can't bring, this new thing I fell in love with. He fell in love with a machine, bruh. Kind of like with Tom Hanks and Wilson. This motherfucker, that goddamn Bob was his best friend and shit. Wilson, that motherfucker was crying his ass off and Wilson so floated away.
I have to say the one that I like. Well, I like all of them, but the one that I liked was the guy that had all the time to read. Oh, there's time, so much time. But see, he was a selfish man, and although he was a very weak man as well, because his wife him right. When the world came to an end and he had all the time in the world now to read, karma happened. And, if you guys haven't seen that, I won't completely spoil it. But
thank
that's
you,
one of
Doc,
my
'cause I
favorite
definitely want to
ones.
watch.
Well, I mean, it's a classic, child. You can tell them. Yeah, why not?
Oh, yeah.
What ends up happening. No, I was saying this is a classic. You can go ahead and say what happens.
Hey, yeah, fuck it.
You
I
can hear
heard you
me?
break up a little bit there. I heard you say it was a classic.
Yeah, and I was saying that if you wanted to say that, if you wanted to say what happens to him, it's a classic. You could say it if you want to.
Oh, well, it was just the earthquake, and then he broke his glasses at the end.
No, actually, child, it was a
So he
nuclear
couldn't
bomb.
read after all. Oh, that's right, because it destroyed all life. And
Yeah,
he,
and like he.
you know,
I remember
yeah, he
watching that
left out.
one Twilight Zone episode with y'all, and it was like this alien ship that landed on the Earth, and like they were trying to figure out who was the alien. I think it might have been just for you, Bill.
Yeah, you're talking about the monsters on Maple Street.
Yes, that's the one. That was a fucking
Oh,
crazy episode. That's the only episode of Twilight Zone I've ever seen. I know you
Wow.
might tell me a couple other ones that day, but I remember that one for sure.
And see, that's another thing to kind of get back on point with this topic of isolation. The way that we've all been looking at each other up to this point, you know, our biasness against one another in terms of politically speaking, or if we subscribe to a particular religious doctrine. Like right now, we're not out there engaging each other about all our differences, as it were, be it idealistically or politically or religiously. But now here's the kicker: we're all still engaging each other online, and what I mean by that is there's still a lot of that. There's still a lot of that ugliness that we have in our society, like racism and all kind of other biasness that are out there, that I think that now we're only confronting it via online, but there's a lot of disinformation out there. And it could, like, say, for example, if you already was thinking some type of way about, like, say, Mexican people or something, you're like, them people shouldn't be coming over here, blah, 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 blah. Well, now that you're isolated in your home, you have that much more time to dive much more deeper into conspiracy theories that align with your fucking prejudiced, perspective. And you can actually come out of this being worse because you done spent hours and hours on end engaging in some shit that you may only engaged in normally when you were working maybe 2-3 hours out of the day because you spent most of your time at a job. But now you're waking up every day and you're jumping on your laptop and on your phone. And if you have like some sort of, you kind of get what I'm saying here? Like, it actually, as much as we're saying that we can better ourselves, there are those that, think that if they think it's some bullshit, they think it's sound, and they're going to keep diving deeper and deeper into it now.
It's the yin and the yang, and it's like, the choice is yours. Like, people people know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's common sense. If you eat right, you feel better. You know what I'm saying? If you work out, you feel better. If you do the right thing, you feel better. If you do the wrong thing, you feel like shit. You know what I'm saying? If you have a conscience, you know what I'm saying? And though I understand that people learn things and might be like scared to be wrong, but this is the perfect time to be wrong. You're in your crib. It's like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could be wrong and soak in my fucking wrongness for like a month, and then I can go out if I'm a racist ass white person and be like, damn, I'm sorry, bro. You know what I'm saying? I can make up for that. You know what I'm saying? I can be a better person. You can choose that. Like, you can choose to soak in your shit, or you can choose to be a better person. And like,
But here's the
that's
but
always
here's
been
the
an
kicker,
option.
though. But again, here's the kicker. If you're sitting at home and you already think this way, since you don't have other people in society engaging you, that would probably, maybe, for example, if you was a racist person, but you were starting to get to know a black person or a Mexican person at a job site, but now you guys are no longer working around each other, and now you're slowly starting to sink back into a lot of those biased ways of thinking because you're not engaging that person of color that you was starting to realize like is a human just like you, and now you're just sitting at home and you like, some of those fucking like, unhealthy thoughts start coming back, and guess what? Now there's nobody in your ear or in your presence that will combat that. You're just gonna dive in. And like you said, it is a choice. But if you're already racist, you think that what you think is right. And there's
Yeah.
nobody around you to say that you're wrong because you're diving online to blogs that align with your thought process.
But even if it wasn't online, even if you had a bad thought process and you were stuck in your home with only a Tom Sawyer book, you would fucking learn the N word in that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? That's real fucking shit. Like, y'all should watch the Dave Chappelle shit when he won the Tom Sawyer word. Not Tom Sawyer word. Whoever wrote that book. Fuck. It's on Netflix.
Samuel Clemens or something or no, at any rate.
Something like that. Anyway, he got a show. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that the internet only like affirms your action. Your thoughts are still gonna be there, and like, that's a hard discussion to get in, bro. Because like, I mean, fuck, bro. If you got a person that like learned something and then you put them in isolation, they're never gonna unlearn it. They're not gonna know no better, and that's just fucking facts. It's empirical knowledge.
Right. Hey, Sean, what do you think about that?
I think people that spout hate and stuff behind their computer are a bunch of punks, and I can use some very choice words and I'll hold my
Oh
tongue.
God.
No, like, it's like, okay, you're gonna get behind a computer and talk about people. Oh yeah, you're so big and bad, but you can't confront. You can't do the same. You're gonna put on a show like everything is fine, and oh, I'll make up for it if I see you in person. Oh, kiss my butt. That's not true. The real you was what you were doing out in the computer, but you don't have the kahunas to,
Oh
tell
God.
the person that you were actually speaking to face to face, because really what you're afraid of is what that person would do to you.
Thanks. No cap, yeah.
Yeah, they're a bunch of fucking cowards, man. Anybody,
Just a bunch of
people are kind of starting
cowards.
to realize that.
Like, give me a break. If they think they were always like this since we've had the internet, and there were other ways that races have flourished, but now they can hide behind the computer, and they've always been like this. And if they've gotten worse, they've already been like this. And I don't know what to say about that except, they don't do it in front of anybody's faces. And I wish that it wasn't such like wild, wild west online, and there was some kind of regulations or when it comes to uh, defaming people and slanders and stalking and all of that kind of stuff that people have to go through. Next thing you know, they're suing because of whatever. I mean, you have all the issues online, but that's a different story.
I'll say a Tupac quote, and I say it a lot. The power is in the people and the politics we address. And like I said it on the very first podcast, y'all can say whatever the fuck you want to say about me. I don't really give a fuck because y'all just on the internet. You can come see me about it and we can fight about it, or we can talk about it and be like grown human beings. You know what I'm saying? Like fuck that internet bullshit, bro. Like you get on Call of Duty, bro, and you got a bunch of like people that are like angry at themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's all take an honest look at why we get angry. Because we're mad at ourselves. Maybe I'm just speaking for me, but take it for what it is. Everybody have their own moment in this. You know what I'm saying? Now we need to look at how we speak to people, and I think me and Bill was talking to Raquel about this earlier, and we speak very negatively. It's always fuck that person, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's never why that person is good because it's like if you say that person is good, that negates how great you are. That's fucking bullshit. I can say that Tupac and Mac Miller and J Cole and Kendrick Lamar are the best rappers alive, and I can say I'm in that fucking same boat with them. No one's gonna say who's better. Like Bill said, we're gonna let the fans say that, but we can still promote each other and prop each other up. Like, why is all this hatred going on? I have to believe, due to my own self, is that it's only because you don't believe in yourself. If you are talking shit about somebody else, it's because you believe that about yourself, and that's just true.
I
Like,
don't
it's really
know.
true.
I'm not sure if that's all of it because, I speak to my parents who go, it's like my parents, they're in their 70s
Yeah.
and they went through the civil rights era. They were around when Martin Luther King, they were exactly what was going on. They were in Chicago during the riots, JFK. So they've been through some amazingly racist, horrific things in their lifetime. And they even say they have never seen it like this before. They don't understand it either. All of this kind of hatred. Now, like I said, look where they have come from. And they're saying that they have never, people that were born in Mississippi, mind you, and they have never seen it like
Right.
this before. So I'm not exactly sure what kind of, and this didn't just start, this has been an ongoing thing, but it was always under the surface, just getting ready to bubble over. I,
I think that
Yeah.
I said one thing about your dad. Like the first time I ever met him and your mom, they gave me a hug. Like they don't see like that. You know what I'm saying? Color like that, even though they've been through that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't I understand it only from the things I've been told type shit. You know, and so when I speak on this, you can only take it from a white kid coming from born in Mississippi, Oxford, and grew up in North Carolina, and that's the only place that I can really speak from besides the knowledge that I've gained. And that's really only just like hearsay, for lack of better words. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't take that as personal knowledge when I speak on it. And I say that to say that like people are people know better, and like it takes somebody to stand up to the fuck shit and like really speak their mind and and be honest and true and have a dialogue and conversation. When hatred gets involved, it's like it it, it and also like Shai was saying, you can't get your ass whooped right now because you're talking on the internet with your keys and shit, and that's cool. But the people you don't have to take that shit. Fuck them. Like it really doesn't matter. All it does is boost your algorithm. You know what I'm saying? If you believe that about yourself and you take that like I don't know, man. I've read a lot of books and shit, and like even I do this. So like I'm not speaking from a perfect person, but like when someone tells me something, and like I just agree with it, I already thought that about myself, and that's just fucking facts, yo. And I'm speaking only for me, yo. And like I'm sure every human being does. And I really think we need to just take a look at like ourselves and how we look at ourselves, and that goes back into the isolation. Like we're in this time of isolation, so take a look at yourself, get to know yourself, get to know who you really are, how you really feel, why you feel that way, why they make you mad. Like, bro, you know how many people I've had say shitty things to me? I don't care. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what does hurt when people that I love say things like that to me. You know what I'm saying? And but in the same constance, these people that are on the internet, they don't fucking know you. They don't love you. So don't be offended by that shit. Like,
You know, I mean, we say that, you guys, but at the end of the day, the internet does make an impression. Even if it doesn't make an impression on
Yeah.
you, it makes an impression on society. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to say
Yeah.
that. But the
Yeah.
reality, man, and this is kind of what we're talking about now. The reality of what
yeah,
we're dealing with, because it's like you can throw out an anecdotal, keep your chin up and da. It's like, but let's be realistic about social engagement, and it's like I'm not, it's good to encourage people to do the right thing, but again, like with both of you guys both said the same thing, which was like the internet is revealing what has already been simmering under the surface, and now there's a platform for them to express that shit. It's nothing new. It's just now we're just seeing it for the first time. Like a motherfucker had a racist thought back in the day. Now he's putting it on a blog. And now he has revealed the way he feels. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to just letting it be a passing thought or a passing statement. And to kind of just summarize this whole entire thing, because we kind of talked about race in particular, but that came from
it's
the
broad
concept of people
though.
not bettering themselves in regards to but focusing on isolation is what I'm going to bring it back to, because all this was about having a thought process that may be unhealthy, and racism is an unhealthy thought process. But if you're an insecure person, you may really become that much more insecure because, again, you don't have social engagement going on. A lot of the things that sometimes helps people out in society is by engaging it. And now that we're only relegated to engaging each other online, we have to look at it from this perspective.
I think true.
Shy, you remember Parrish Baker?
Yeah.
You remember? Yeah. One of my favorite quotes that he said that kind of can get a summary to what I'm kind of trying to get to here, which is when we're talking about people making a change and correcting any wrongs that's within their character because of this self-imposed isolation. Well, consider this, right? Why is it so hard to give a fuck? Because it's so easy not to.
That's real as fuck, yo. Oh God, like
Yeah.
no cap.
Yes. Yeah, that was a fucking, you know what I'm saying? You motherfucker have to marinate. Because consider this. What is the easiest thing people always say? Hell, we even said it in this conversation. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Look how easy that is. Give a fuck. Give a fuck and see how hard that is. Give a fuck about your mental perceptions of things while you're in self-imposed isolation. I'm not going to mention this person, but I know someone that's really dealing badly with this mentally right now, because they're not allowing themselves to fucking be active in any other way mentally. Let's bring this shit back to what we're talking about: isolation.
No doubt.
Fucking
Yeah,
correcting our
a lot of
mind.
times,
Correcting,
a lot of times people don't know what to do. It's like I think that we're some of the lucky ones that we have music and other people that have a creative outlet. But
No
a lot
cap.
of people don't even have no idea what to do. So it's like if it gets that far, and if they've never have done anything like that in the first place, they don't know where to put that energy. They don't know where to put those thoughts. Those thoughts have
right,
always been like wild animals. All of a sudden, it's like I got to focus on something. You know?
But
right.
that's so true,
I
yo.
completely
Like
agree.
I think I was saying this earlier about like one of my homies and shit. Like I remember this like very real moment for me. He was like, bro, I don't know what I want to do in my life. I was like, fuck you mean we doing this music shit? But he don't even rap. You know what I'm saying? Like, but like that's literally how I looked at things, and like having a creative outlet. And I think that's something to like. I do understand that. You know what I'm saying? Don't take anything that I'm saying to not understand that. Like I get like how I deal with it, but I think that everybody can find their way to deal with it. Like chisel some wood. Like read a book. let's watch a movie, play some video games. Like, you know, whether you like it or not, while you're doing that, you're gonna start thinking. You know,
But I
Right.
have to say that's really not realistic. And what's going on is that domestic violence is surging. Child abuse is surging.
Right.
All
wow.
kinds of things are happening while people are being locked up, and they're not using this time in a better way. People don't have anywhere to go. Food pantries are being overwhelmed. People are running out of food. So people are desperate, and they're not looking at it like that. They're looking what I'm going to do to feed my family or pay whatever bill.
No cap.
I don't know what's going on, but I know some places have stopped light bills, and like electric bills, and maybe rent. But there's a lot of people that are in trouble, and they're very desperate right now. And
I
being creative and having those kind of outlets are probably not even close to coming to their minds.
artistically
I
you
think
Right.
can
that
look
we're
at what
some
was
of the lucky.
created from environments like that, and that's like one way to look at it. But also, like, in the terms of, I think that, like, it's a selfish way to look at it, but it's also a good way to look at it. What can you do on a daily basis is going to help society? If you know that you're going to be a bad person and you don't fuck with people, then don't go fuck with people. You know what I'm saying? Like, uh, I think that, like, though, like Shaz was saying, all these things are horrific. Like, they're very horrible, and I don't want to negate from that. But I do want to say that, like, though we're talking about all these bad things happening, we have to be searching for an answer for that. Because I've been around a lot of pessimistic motherfuckers that watched conspiracy videos and thought the world was gonna end, and fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know
Right.
how many times, bro? Like, I told motherfuckers, like, I was gonna do something and they didn't believe me, but and they would blame it on the conspiracy video. I had people tell me that they were not allowed to make more than $50,000 because they would have to join the Illuminati. And not to say that is what the case right now, but I'm just saying, don't let fear rule your world. Though these things are happening, we
But
can make
still,
a change. We are the change. Right now, we are having this conversation and this dialogue, and whoever listens to this is hopefully is gonna make a change in their life. And us as people are making a change on a daily basis. I remember Hunter one time I was talking about doing this rap stuff and I was talking about prisons. I don't know how it got on that. And this motherfucker told me, like, why don't you go down to the prison and volunteer? And, like, I got
You got
mad at him
pissed
for a
off at me.
second.
You got pissed off at me for telling
Like,
him to
yeah,
go
and
but
volunteer.
he's like,
that
it was
Chef Mac was
real.
keeping it real with your ass though.
No
That's what
cap.
the fuck
Like,
he was doing. He was keeping it real. It's like, don't fuck about a rap song about prison that your ass ain't visited one before.
no cap, bro. Like, and that shit was just like, you don't have to have money to make a change, bro. If you see a piece of trash on the ground, you can pick it up. You're not bigger than that.
But
You know
still,
what I'm saying?
again, I think what Shaw was trying to say, you're speaking from a, we're all actually, what we're even doing right now is keeping our minds active. We're doing something that we're not mandated to do. This is keeping us active within the time that we're doing this, and it gives us something to look forward to. We created this shit. This is just out of our own mind, and we decided to do something. It ain't even got nothing to do with what none of us do. Fucking Chef Mac is the chef. You're a rapper. Me and Sean are musicians. But we created something off to the side that allows us to be creative, allows our mind to focus on something outside of what could probably keep us bottled down. And like Sean was saying, you got people that, like, for example, maybe you had a woman who has a very abusive husband, but she was accustomed to that motherfucker leaving out every day. So she had a semblance of peace for about maybe 8 hours until that motherfucker came home raging. But now, guess what? She wakes up every day and has 24 hours up under that motherfucker now. Millions of women, and then the fucking kids that get beat by those same punk motherfuckers, and then think about the kids that their parents are looking at them because guess what? There are kids that depended on eating school
No
lunches.
cap,
They
bro.
didn't.
Yeah.
They don't get fed at home. When they went home, in fact, that's where they would starve is at home. But they could depend on those 2, 3 meals, all right. But now schools are closed, and now they're looking at their mom and dad. All right, I'm gonna tell you something, Scoob.
What up?
That mom and dad is not gonna fucking sit around and do this self-reflecting shit we're talking about. They're gonna try to figure out how to put food in their kid's belly.
Hey,
And that's what makes this a more layered thing. You know, we can speak from a place because ain't now one of us got kids. But what about if you were coming home with two goddamn 3 kids? You ain't gonna sit around, speaking, affirmations and anecdotes in the mirror. You're gonna be like, God damn, my kid is starving. I need to figure out how to feed my kid. That's
hey,
real shit, Scoob.
I can speak from like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I remember like my family was amazing, but I remember opening the refrigerator and there not being nothing there. You know what I'm saying? Like, or like cheese,
Hey,
like
me,
little
me,
things
me,
like that. Like, yeah, and I get that. You know what I'm
me and
saying?
Shy come from
But
that shit
like
too,
my
dude.
dad, like you from the same generation, bro. It's like Bill, bro. You the same one. You gonna tell me like, hey, like don't let these motherfuckers bring you down. You know what I'm saying? And like and like that's all I'm trying to speak on is like the same light that you give me and that my father gave me is like no matter what we're going through, we gonna get through this. Like if we think that we're not, we're not. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I want to
I
stop you
agree
right
with that.
there and get back onto topic a little bit. We're
Well,
talking
actually, I
a
think
lot about self-reflection. I want you to talk about how you can stay in the right mental state during this isolation. Like there's like so I'm not a very good example of this, but I have a blackout curtain, which has completely screwed up my sleep schedule because I have no idea when it's daylight out. But like, if you have one, I recommend opening it and looking outside or going for a walk. What are y'all doing to stay mentally okay? You know,
Yeah, that exactly. And that's kind of why I was kept on trying to bring it back to that. I know we was talking about things that deserve to be talked about, but I didn't want to get so caught up in like the racism or affirmations and all that. It's kind of like what Chef Mack is saying. It's like, well, the premise of our conversation is, how does one handle the confronting your inner self. And like I was just using the example, like here we are doing a podcast, something that we're not mandated to do, but it allows us to be active and engage in such a conversation as this, and
yeah,
stimulates our brain. It stimulates our brain because guess what? If we wasn't doing this, maybe we'd be doing something mundane right now. And I'm
No
not trying to
cap.
say that that's I'm not trying to say that's a bad thing, because honestly, when we're done with this, I'm probably just gonna just lay on my fucking couch and maybe watch some movies and some shit. That's fucking mundane as fuck, but I'm taking care of business right now.
But that's self reflection though. It's like um, acknowledging how your body feels and taking heed to that. Like I know anybody that's watching this podcast, unless you like rich as fuck, and if you're rich as fuck, I'm sure you probably even felt it more. But I'm just not gonna put that on you. Uh, you were tired when you went to work. You know what I'm saying? But then you went to sleep. Like you have to know how your body feels. You know what I'm saying? Like and you have to take that and do with it what it is. Like words to the Buddha. Like everything is in here. You know what I'm saying? All we are doing is just talking, we're speaking, and like hopefully make a connection with y'all and bridge the gap between like thought processes. But it's all in here. You know what I'm saying? For real. Like you got the power. And that's
Amen,
what
brother.
self isolation
Amen.
is about. Like think about an
And,
ice on a
and, you,
basketball.
and you know what? Speaking of Buddha, for example,
Yeah.
Buddha purposely put himself in self isolation for like 5 years or 10 years or some shit,
No
and
cap.
came out with that enlightened perspective, and that came from isolation, not
From
from
in
him being
here.
around. Yeah, not from being around the people, because Buddha came from fucking royalty, man. He came from
Facts.
money. He wasn't a poor guy. He didn't have to fucking go off and try to quote unquote find himself, as it were. He had the economics to just discover himself by travel, but he chose to look inward. And thanks to that inwardness, we now have Buddhism. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? And Buddhism lasted longer than whatever amount of wealth that he ever would have achieved and shit or acquired, because he gave something to the world that was deeper. And kind of to strengthen your point that you just said that, we're trying to do something positive through this podcast. But I am also trying to keep a sense of realism, like Shah was pointing out about there are other issues that are going on that we have to acknowledge and can't just simply give a blanketed statement of, just find the inner strength within yourself if your goddamn husband is beating your ass every fucking day. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, it's like and I feel like this is why like I'm so excited to have Shy on here. You know what I'm saying? And Hunter and the whole bridging the gap like thing, because like that's what y'all bring to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how the youth is supposed to feel. I'm sure y'all felt a similar way when y'all was my age.
Well, I'm glad.
Very very advantageous to bring truth to the world. My dad used to famous quote from my dad: "Life sucks." I used to get in arguments with this motherfucker. Life doesn't suck. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't, you know. But like as I'm getting older, I'm starting to understand it. But I'll never let that dampen my light and like bringing positivity to the world, yo. Cause bro, I remember one time my little brother, we on the porch, right? He looks up at me and he says, "We just enjoying the world, aren't we?" You know? And
Out
that
the
man,
mouth of babes, man. Out the mouth of babes, man. The innocence of children. And that's another thing. Like, I'm teaching kids online,
that
and you know what? My kids are not losing their fucking minds, man.
yeah,
These kids are keeping themselves busy. They anticipate when I call them, and they're engaging in these lessons. And I've seen 9 year olds handle this isolation better than certain adults
it's wild, bro.
because it's about what's going on in here. You know what I'm saying? And how you keep yourself active. Because, man, we are all susceptible
No
to
cap.
let ourselves, like any one of us can let ourselves let the worst fucking, demons inside of us take control of us and go to an unhealthy place. We all have that potential.
Thug
And
life is an amazing.
I I
Go
think
ahead.
you have to have those I think you have to have those demons probably lurking inside you somewhere in the first place.
Yeah,
And
I
you
agree.
have to come from a happy.
Hey, sorry, could you say that again? You broke up.
Oh, I said that I said people like that might have some demons lurking, under the surface in the first place. Because, you have to be able to come from a happy place. If there's something going on inside, hey, that's probably where they're going to be coming from.
The hate, the hate you
Word.
give little infants fucks everyone. Like that's the realest shit anyone's ever said. Cause like that's just the truth of anything. Like if you take a seed and you like fuck the seed up, it's gonna be a shitty plant. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna give
And
you
you know,
good food.
and you know what? To kind of harp, to hone in on that particular thing, these kids are watching how we're reacting to this. They're assessing how it is to really be an adult in a very despairing time, and they're watching us to see because the way we respond to this and the way we engage each other about this, that's going to leave an impression on these kids on how to handle shit when it really hits the fan. And they're watching us to see how to be. And if we're all running around talking about the fucking skies falling like we're Chicken Little, the kids are looking at that. They're like, oh well, shit, you're supposed to panic when shit fucking hits the fan. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what the adults are doing.
Can I like say something like Martin Luther King knew that some white people were shitty, but he wasn't going around preaching that. As Malcolm X do that and preach that, and then he stopped. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the interesting thing to say. You know what I'm saying? When people look at things positively, most of the time it's not looked at as the cool thing. People want to be Malcolm X. People want to be Tupac. They want to be, you know what I'm saying, spitting in the camera's face like "fuck you, see me." You know what I'm saying? But like sometimes you
You know,
gotta
when you
take the approach like I know, but I'm not gonna speak down to that level. And I think it's just interesting, you know. And that's slowly speaking on history. That's you go if you don't know like if you know those two people and you've done research on them, you know I'm speaking on like facts of like their personalities. You know what I'm saying? People out there
well,
like
again, though, Scoob, like I told you, every time you bring that up about Martin and Malcolm, I try
yeah,
to explain to you why Malcolm was that way, bruh.
no, I get
You
it
know what I'm
though.
saying? It ain't like he was just going around saying fuck Whitey for his own fucking benefit. Whitey was fucking spraying us down with water hoses, bruh. So get the shit right on why he was speaking that way. It
Well,
wasn't fucking hate filled. It was a reaction. But let's not even go there because if we keep harping on that, we're going to get away from isolation.
big
You
So
facts.
I
know?
want to I want to
Uh,
say something that brings it back to what Bill said about how kids are watching what we're doing, and I'm gonna I'm gonna tell y'all a quote that like helps keep me grounded, and I'm gonna explain it. This don't be a lasagna. Very simple. So have you
Oh,
ever
shit.
microwaved a lasagna without poking the film on the top?
Oh yeah, dude.
It explodes.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I'm saying don't overwhelm yourself. Take your time, enjoy the little things, which is poking the holes in the top, and just relax and chill and let them kids see what you're doing and how you're coping. Don't let yourself explode, and let the kids know that that's okay to do. You want to not do that.
Right. Hey, and look, Chef Mac, something that I actually, I don't know if I don't think we ever had conversations about this, but if I'm not mistaken, man, you're a Marine, right?
I was in a Marine ROTC at the high school, but the same kind of discipline and stuff. Yeah.
Well, see, but this is kind of what I'm getting to. It's just like, you understand what it means to discipline your mind being a soldier at one time in your life. And so I think that, I wanted to mention that to kind of add more strength to what you're saying, because it's like you are a person that knows how to discipline yourself. And I just wanted to point that out. It's just like, hey, man, you are, simplify to my boy over there, goddammit. Hey,
Yeah, simplify.
Always faithful.
Always
no
faithful.
doubt.
Yep.
Even though I'm not a Marine, and I probably shouldn't, I don't think I'm supposed to say that, but hey, I'm just showing love.
Hey, I feel that, bro. I
But
just want
look,
to kind of like, I don't want to bring it back, but I just want to say like, apologize if you took that the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a brilliant moment, and I just wanted to kind of like, you know what I'm saying?
no, man,
Damn
no,
it up.
Scoop, again, just real quickly, you know, I've heard you say that a couple of times, and the way I've heard you say it, it's like, it's almost like it's almost like, Malcolm X was hate filled, and then he went to Mecca and then found love. That ain't, you can't say it like that because it is a blanket statement. You have to realize the layers to why he felt like that. You know what I'm saying? To understand the individual, even with serial
But you don't
killers,
think
right?
Martin went through the
You
same thing?
when you, well, again, Martin handled it differently. Martin didn't go to fucking prison for prostitution, and shit like that. And so girls like Malcolm, so they came from different backgrounds. Martin went to college.
Okay.
Martin came from a fucking middle class background. Malcolm X was the street motherfucker, okay? His motherfucking daddy got killed by the goddamn Klan. You know what I'm saying? His mama and shit, your grandmother got raped. That's why he had white in his blood. So again, understand that shit before you go, well, Malcolm X was speaking hate and then all of a sudden he found love. It's like, no, bruh, slow that down. Understand why he felt like that. But again, I don't
I
want to get too
appreciate that
deep into
knowledge, though.
that because this is going to turn into a fucking African history thing. And let's not do that. Let's just keep it on isolation.
Hey, I want to get back to that too, but I appreciate that knowledge though, and like that's one thing that I'm finding through isolation is the chance to gain knowledge. You know what I'm saying, and ask questions. Don't be afraid. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was something that I felt and I've said based off the knowledge that I've gained, and like, don't be afraid to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I appreciate that shit, bro.
Well,
Real talk.
sometimes Well, see, hey, word, hey, you know how I am, Scoop. And see, the thing is, and I think we've actually kind of touched on this here recently, where you have to admit your ignorance.
Exactly, yo.
If you don't know something, man, it's so hard for people to admit that they don't know something. You know what I'm saying? They want to act like they have a surface knowledge of any fucking thing you bring up. You may be a physics teacher, and you know that you're talking to someone that don't know a damn thing about physics. But they will try to find something to say to act like they are on your level instead of
Yeah,
admitting their fucking ignorance. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like, I admit my ignorance all the time about like things I don't know about the internet and shit, and I'm always coming at you about it. Like, man,
no
Scoop, I don't
doubt.
understand what the fuck. How come my damn likes ain't up? And like, what's up with the algorithm? And you'd be like, well, hey, man, blah, blah, blah. And you're fucking 20 years younger than me, Scoop. But hey, knowledge is knowledge, God damn it. And you have to admit your ignorance to some shit. You know what I'm saying? No matter how fucking old you are, I think it gets harder for people as they get older sometimes to admit their ignorance because they get so comfortable in their ignorance. If you spent 20 years thinking some shit that was wrong, and then all of a sudden someone tells you something right, it's going to take a minute for
Hey,
it to
Billy,
gel. Because
that
yeah.
the woman that believed in dinosaurs.
Oh yeah, that argument I had the other day and shit. Like scientists have fucking dug these fucking bones up, but you're relegating this to like it's some ideology, like a belief, like people believe in dinosaur. It's like I don't believe in it, motherfucker. There's bones in fucking museums. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
this ain't just fucking me just whimsically believing in some fucking prehistoric giants, just to entertain myself. It's like motherfucking scientists found this shit. Archaeologists dug this shit up. You know what I'm saying? It's just, but motherfuckers don't want to admit their ignorance. They would rather argue you all day on some shit that's wrong because they don't want to admit that they're ignorant.
And like only why I kind of wanted to bring it up through isolation. I feel like you can admit your ignorance. Like that the Malcolm X and Martin Luther King statement is. I'm sure a lot of people feel that way based off the history that I was taught. You know what I'm saying? The two things that he said about uh his grandmother and his father.
Yeah.
And like I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So that's new information that like so my statement wasn't based off that information. And I think that that's like an important thing to understand when we're talking with people. Uh, like
And you know what? And you
you
know where
see
I
how you
learned that?
handled it. You know
You see what? And guess what? You know how I learned that?
what up?
By reading the fucking autobiography of Malcolm X by
I
Alex
read it
Haley.
too. It's fire. Like real talk.
Well, see, well, there it is. If you read it, then you skimmed over that information because it's in that book. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, what I told you is in that book. So if you read it, that shit didn't gel with you, obviously,
Yeah, it just
because it's
didn't
in
really
that
hit.
fucking
But
book. See what I'm saying? So
yeah,
you
it's
read
real
the
though.
book,
It's a lot of
but
shit
you
I read the
didn't
book and I don't know.
you didn't absorb it.
Yeah.
Like if I tell you, now check this out, right? And we all know people like this. And I'll admit, I think maybe only one time of my life I tried to attempt to read the entire Bible. Like you have people
No
that
way.
will say that but there's people out here that say they've read the Bible fucking front to back, and I actually believe that that's true with some people. But what I'm getting at is it's like for the most part, because everybody is familiar with the Bible, when you talk to someone on a surface level, and everybody acts like just because a couple of scriptures that they read and come across, they say they know the Bible.
Yeah.
But maybe they've only read a couple of scriptures from fucking Genesis or Revelations. It's like, but they probably ain't never read Corinthians, probably ain't never read David, the book of Luke, but read some other shit and extrapolated what they felt was what they wanted from it. And then they'll go tell some other motherfucker, I know the Bible because they can quote a couple of scriptures. And it's like, no, motherfucker, you read certain excerpts of the Bible. You don't know the Bible. Unless
Yeah.
your ass read that shit fucking back to back. And not only if you read it, but like I'm telling you right now, what I'm checking you on, you can't just read some shit and not absorb all the information. And then, like you just did a minute ago, and go, well, Malcolm X is talking hating it. And then you're telling me that you read the autobiography of Malcolm X and you skimmed over the fact that the reason why he felt like that because his goddamn father was killed by white people. See what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
absorb shit. Don't just
I didn't
read it.
really,
Look,
I ain't
now think
peep
about it.
that game though.
But now look, on the flip side, right? You've been learning about the Black Panthers, and you've been spitting the right shit about that because you've been absorbing it. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Because you were like, Bill, I found out something interesting about the Black Panthers. They actually had this thing about capitalism, and stuff like that. And you didn't know that because what does the fucking white media always tell you? Oh, Black Panthers are like the Klan, even though they don't have one record of killing a white person.
And see, like I think, like as a white person, like Malcolm X turned me off a little bit off of the things that he was saying. So like it frustrated me, and like I feel bad about not absorbing that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just kind of
But
like,
see,
but I
I
see
get,
why.
All right, we need to stop and get to the rapid fire questions
Shit.
before
We was going in though. I like it, bro. I'm fucking
I
with it.
know
but,
this is kind
We're
of
gonna
but,
we
see,
got
finish this
way off
conversation, so
topic
maybe
from
you'll
what we
not be
need
on
to do.
camera, but like
yeah, man,
we
but
keep
we
talking
have
that
to.
shit.
I appreciate that, but we have to be careful of not deflecting, man. Like that's why I kept telling you, like, man, what we're talking about is deep, but
It is.
that's another show,
Yeah.
and we can't get away from what we're trying to hone in on here, the isolation thing. Because I mean, yeah, we can offer that, but let's not keep talking about Malcolm and none of that. I'm glad you discovered that and beautiful, but let's bring it back to actually now we're at rapid fire now.
Yeah,
I don't. How long we've been doing this? So we
hour
had
and
an hour
7
and
minutes.
15 minutes. We've been doing this a long time. I feel like this was a very great podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like
It was, but we said in the
This was
beginning we
fun.
were talking about isolation, and but
this comes with isolation, though. This is like what
the
our
whole
thoughts
point
are
was how to
telling you.
survive isolation,
This
not.
is how we survive isolation. We talk about things. You know what I'm saying? Like
But
this is
we're
the thing
talking.
that. All right,
Shut the
I'll finish
fuck
that.
up.
You
No,
let you go, Chef.
we
This is so beautiful, man, because it's like we're all siblings here, man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm
Like
saying?
this
Like,
is so crazy.
we could be so much more. We could be so much realer with each other, and this is actually a beautiful thing. I don't think I don't think there's nothing lost here. And for all of those that are watching this podcast, if you felt like maybe we deflected a little bit, but Scoob, I will agree with you. This is a part of the process. Like what we're doing right now, we're doing it in isolation, and we're showing in real time what one can do in isolation. Not necessarily create a podcast, but do something with your time. And this entire podcast, if anything is lost otherwise, because we talked about other stuff, keep this in mind for those watching, that, hey, what we're doing, if we weren't doing this time wouldn't have been occupied with something creative. Well, I should say like that. We would have been doing something creative, but not this.
As much as you can watch movies as well, you don't know the knowledge of people that were in that time. I can speak from the movies I've watched, and that's all I'm speaking from. But I would rather learn from people, you know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to ask the questions, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, bro, like, I got checked in this episode, and that's fucking awesome, because I learned something, you know what I'm saying, that I didn't know, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like,
growth is an elating thing. Every time there's growth, there's elation. You know what I'm saying? And that's, and it's like, it behooves anybody to do that. And you did it with me, Scoop. Like when I be speaking something that I thought I knew about the internet or, how things work. And then you'd be like, Bill, no, that shit don't work like that.
Yeah, for real, though.
You know what I'm saying? And then I have to back up and admit my ignorance to that and then learn from listening to your ass. That's all I'm doing there. And that's all anybody out here should do.
Bro.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I can learn something from all of y'all. You know what I'm saying? And I have. I've learned something from my sis. I mean, she's my sister. We've been knowing each other all our lives. I've learned things from her. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in a lot of ways, Shy is a lot more mature than me in certain ways. You know what I'm saying?
100.
I learned too.
and look, the same thing I said about that, I can say that about you, Chef. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you're the big brother, but I have to admit, there's times where Chef Mac is more mature than you.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's something about being the.
But that doesn't take it.
It's just
we're both the older siblings, and there's other things that our younger siblings here get from us. But
are you breaking up?
You know what I'm saying? It's like, Shy's my baby sister. Shy's my baby sister, but I'm mature enough to admit if Shy knows something that I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's like, Scooby or some shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to admit that, and I see that with you and your brother. If your brother come at you some kind of way, you don't ever condescend him. You give him the props of knowing it. I mean, I know y'all brothers, and you gonna have your blah, blah, blahs, but at the end of the day, y'all, and look, at the end of the day, y'all love each other. You know what I'm saying? Y'all love each other, and at the end of the day that, ain't nobody gonna have you like your bro. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And I think
on that note, man, look. On that note, man, look, let's not go too deeper so Hunter can get into this rapid fire with us.
Hey, big thanks. So we'll go deep.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 questions before the final one. The first one is just what are movies that you have watched specifically about isolation and loneliness? Just
I
haven't
didn't
watched nothing about that.
Say it again for Shy.
What are some movies that you have watched that are about isolation and loneliness?
Nothing.
I got a list. I mean, The Shining. I am.
This is why, bro. This motherfucker got a list. I have nothing.
Well, I had these before, y'all.
That's why I
Martian,
fuck with this motherfucker though. You got a list.
The Last
You know
Man on
what?
Earth, Castaway. We mentioned Wilson earlier.
Good movie.
I actually have watched The Shining within maybe the last couple of weeks, so that's on my list. I've watched that myself. But that's probably the only thing that I've watched about isolation. I've actually watched things about pandemics. Like I've watched Contagion, Outbreak.
Do it.
Yeah, I know a lot of people say it's not healthy to do it. But do it. But dude, it's like we're in the middle of a pandemic. It ain't gonna fuck my mind any less, or more. It's like it ain't gonna change what's going on out here. You know what I'm saying? But that's my perspective.
Yeah, I'm a little scary. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't watched it yet.
Yeah, man, because it's actually kind of educational because, like, contagion, for example, the contagion that's spreading around is kind of similar to like what's going on with us right now. It could be passed around through touch.
True.
The disease in the movie incubates for a longer period of time than the average like germ and shit. And so yeah,
They have
it kind of allows
quarantine.
what's going on. Yeah, quarantine and shit.
But
But
all right, so those movies did not pop up on my Netflix until the fucking quarantine happened. I think that's bullshit. That's why I didn't watch them. I probably would watch them before quarantine, but like just for the
You
fact
know they
of like,
pop up on your Netflix because that's something that's being searched constantly.
ah man, fuck them
right.
algorithms though. Like I'm trying to like
Well,
master them, but fuck them at the same time.
All right, you ready for the next question?
yeah.
We gotta slow it down though.
All right, what is a useless skill that you have?
Hey,
Yeah.
I can roll it backwards while I'm
Oh,
driving.
did we lose that?
I'm sorry. Did you say useless?
Useless,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we lost
Oh,
your visual, Shy.
I don't know. I guess maybe sewing because I don't really sew, but I can't. It's a skill. Who sews these days? Like
My
even
grandma.
when I sew my socks, it's sewing. So because it's a skill.
Hey, Heather, what was the question exactly again? I kind of lost it.
What is a useless skill that you have?
Oh, useless skill that you do have. Oh, okay. Um, a useless skill that I do have. I could fold my tongue in my mouth and I can make myself sound like. Can y'all hear
Yo,
that?
that's crazy, bro. That's like some
So what I do is I fold my
genius,
tongue.
bro.
I fold my tongue inside my mouth and I press it against my inside my mouth and
Yo, that's
so,
crazy, bro. That's freaky as hell, bro. Like no cap. Like,
so that's some useless shit that I can do.
hey, bro, I'm gonna say that's useless though, bro. I think it'll be useful, bro.
Oh
Hey,
shit.
shit, bro. Like, I feel like uh, a useful skill.
Yeah, a useless skill that you have. No, a useless skill that you have.
Useless.
Oh, a useful skill.
Like that doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't help anybody. Uh, um,
Like me folding my tongue doesn't help anybody. That's a
hey,
useless
shit.
fucking
Like, my
skill.
a useful skill that I have is like I can like take a shower and within a day my hair is gonna be knotted up.
You can do
Like it just
what?
like gets like tied up and twisted up, and like I have to condition it every day. Like this hair right here, yo, it takes a lot to take care of. You know what I'm saying? So if
But
y'all fuck with the
that's not a
Rockstar Scooby the Kid, make sure y'all, you know what I'm saying, go love.
but that's not a useless skill. That's just a reaction of your hair to the
Ah
to
shit,
the
damn, bro.
water.
Hey, bro, damn, Bill, bro, damn, Bill, calm down, bro, calm down. Hey, all right,
Hey,
but
I'm just
useful
trying to
skill
keep you
though,
on point.
I
You know
already
why I
got one,
check?
bro. I'm always useful.
The reason why I check you, man, because I don't want you to fucking sound stupid, bro. God damn it, hey.
Hey, no, bro, no, I feel that shit, bro. I feel that shit, bro. A lot of
Do you
times,
want me?
yo,
You don't want me to check you and let you say stupid shit? Hey, go
Nah,
no,
ahead, then.
bro,
I
I
won't
want
check
you
I
you.
to
know what
check me,
his
bro. That's
useless
exactly
skill
what I
is. He
want,
can
bro. That's
sleep
like
all
what I
day.
thrive off of, bro. I need people to check me, bro. Cause I was convicted in it, bro. Until you said something, I thought I was saying the complete right thing. Like that's real. Like that's not for the fucking like the podcast. That's like the honest to God thought.
You know, you and your hair getting knotted up is not a useless skill. That is a reaction to your hair to water.
That and it can yeah. Well, no, I'm saying like if I don't not
God,
no
you are a
water. I'm just
dumbass.
saying like if I let it like ride, like
Hey, yo,
when it
let's
gets
keep it
so
moving,
long,
baby.
bro, it gets like tied up, bro, and it's crazy. I don't know how it does it. Like I don't know how my hair gets so
Hey,
fucking tied, bro.
shut
It's
up.
crazy, bro. Like
Shh,
I
be
don't know.
quiet.
It's weird,
We
bro.
understand.
Oh, God,
It's
man.
weird,
Hey,
bro.
hair. If you could put your
Okay.
hair in one of those man buns, now that might be a
No,
pretty
I
good
can't do it,
skill.
man. I can't do it. I like the flow. I like the flow, man.
Uh,
I gotta say, my
Hey, shit.
most useless skill is that I can procrastinate until the last minute and still get 100 on essays.
oh,
Yeah.
shit. I wouldn't say that's useless if you can get good grades.
Yeah, that's very useful. That
But
was
it
my
doesn't. It
number one
doesn't help
useful skill, bro.
anybody.
be a college
Like it
graduate.
doesn't help me. Other than the 100, it doesn't help me. I stress out
Yeah.
and worry about it. All right. So the next question: what's something easy that you often screw up?
Mm.
Oh,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah. That's actually a good question because I brainstorm because I know I can find something. Um,
Yeah, let me think for a
Talking.
second.
Surprisingly, I stutter a lot. That's crazy.
ah, um, oh
Hmm.
shit. I would say, well, this is not the one I really want to say, but it's something I could pull out of my mind real quick. Like, how like people can, like when they like use a knife and they cut cheese real good and stuff like that. Every time I use a knife, I always like my shit comes down and then it slants over, and I never get a good perfect slice. So I suck at fucking cutting cheese.
Bro, you don't know how to cut the cheese, bro? Shoot the duck? Bro, that's like, bro, that's kid
I
shit.
don't even know what the fuck that means.
But slicing the cheese, bro, shooting ducks? That's like, you know what I'm saying?
What's
Farting.
shooting ducks? What the fuck is
Farting.
even that?
Farting.
Farting.
Shooting the
Oh,
cheese, bro, that's farting, bro. That's what I thought that's what you were talking about, but you was really talking about slicing cheese right now, bro. What the hell?
oh yeah! This is what I thought I was talking about fun. That's
That's
good.
what I
I love your
thought, bro.
crazy ass, man. I
Oh
love
shit.
your crazy ass.
This man.
All right, what else you got for us, other man? What's up?
Well, Shy though, Shy. I want to hear
Yeah.
Shy's.
Yeah. We
I
gotta answer our question.
Oh,
Or we gotta
Damn, bro,
answer.
how
yeah,
you
I
gonna forget your
think
sister,
of
bro?
one right.
Damn, bro, you a bad brother, bro. Okay.
Yeah, I can't think of one now.
I think for me, I always screw up when I'm cooking. I'm always going too fast, doing too much. It's easy, but I screw
what?
up still.
What the fuck are you saying, bro? I can't hear you.
I said I always one thing that's easy for me that I screw up often cooking. Like I'll be going too fast, forget something's on heat and burn it and screw that up, you know.
You know
No,
what I can
actually,
only see you
I
screwing
get
up,
that. I
bro?
get
1v1 matches in Call of Duty.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right. For the next
Hey,
question,
check out the stream though, Chef Mac. You go hard.
what's the funniest way you've hurt yourself?
What's the
oh, no, the funniest way that you've hurt yourself.
oh
Oh, bro, I got it, and I'm gonna top the whole fucking cake right here, right? So I was trying to to like do a pole vault with a pool stick off my
Oh
top
God,
bunk
this
of the bed, and I sliced my ball sack open, and it was very, very, very. It was weird, bro. I didn't realize it hurt so bad till my mom was freaking the fuck out. To be honest, you know what I'm saying? In that moment, and like, it was crazy, bro. Like, that's some little kid shit. And even funnier of the story, my mom drives through the fucking kids section of the hospital. She's going over all the ski bumps. And I got my legs up, my balls, you know what I'm saying, literally hanging out. Like, it's fucking
So
crazy.
your punk ass got a fucking large scar on your balls.
Yeah, bro, big one, and it's crazy, bro. Like I had to sit crisscross applesauce in the Boys and Girls Club, and I couldn't move. Like you know what I'm saying? It was bad. Like I was just trying to play football. You know what I'm saying? That's it.
Oh my god. Well, for
It's
me,
crazy.
man, when I was a kid and child, you'll remember this. You remember how I used to always run into shit and my eye would always be swollen? Like I would always like run into like poles and shit, and
oh
I don't know if you remember,
yeah. Oh
you know. Like I was one of those type of motherfuckers. Every time I turned around, I would run into a pole like I was a fucking cartoon character, man. So I did that so much that I would say that that's the stupidest shit I do. I'm one of those motherfuckers that I run into poles. What about you, Chef Mac?
for me, it's funny to me now, but when it happened, it wasn't. So me and Scooby were wrestling on my grandmother's bed right after I sprained my arm, and
You broke your arm first fight, jumping off the swing. Don't play me, bro. Don't
I
try to play me
sprained
like I hurt you, bro. Like
I sprained my arm, got out of the cast, and me and him are wrestling, and he goes and grabs the wrist that I broke, slams it back, and
Oh my god!
Hey, but this little motherfucker was savage though, bro. You know what I'm saying? I had to then show my dominance.
Well, what about you, Sean?
Oh God.
Hey, what's that
The
noise, yo?
audio. Yeah.
Is that
Um, I,
Can you guys
yeah.
hear that?
Well, you know what? It's raining now. I don't know if that's affecting it. It is raining a little
Hey,
bit.
yo, that's my fault. I think I was too close to my speaker in the studio. Nah, no way, no way. My phone's over here. Nah, it's somebody else.
Go ahead and try to answer now, Sean.
Okay. Where do you want
I can't hear it, bro.
bank?
I can't hear.
Oh, Sean, try to move your phone again or something.
What about now?
Is that better now?
Uh, that's better, yeah.
Hold on, is it me, bro? There's no way it's me, bro.
Yeah, no, that's it right there. She had it.
Nah, bro, I hear that shit, bro. It's like a, it's like a scary movie, bro.
Hey, Bill, is it raining?
Yeah, it's raining outside right now. I'm standing
I think
outside and I'm
that
looking
might
at
be it.
Yeah, bro.
it.
Step inside real
Okay, let
quick,
me
bro.
go.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Bro, that was definitely it, Bill. Damn, Bill, bro. You don't know, bro. I'm gonna have to get with that Generation X. You know what I'm saying? The millennial is gonna have to show you something about the internet and shit, bro. I'm just fucking with you, bro.
Okay.
No,
So we got
Hey, bro, you tell. I'm listening,
I,
bro.
hey, Sean, I can hear you a little bit better now. So go ahead and try to answer that so we can move to the next question.
okay. I remember when I was living in New York, I had to go to the bank, so I decided to jog to the bank. And this was before, I was wearing my um, yoga pants and all of that. So I had some big floppy kind of pants out. Oh, my jogging pants. I jogged in them all the time. So, I was used to it. But this particular time, I just had my confidence, I had my wind, and I'm just going
Yeah.
down the street. I was almost there, and I don't know what happened, but I think I tripped over the leg of my pants, and I just went flat down. I mean, how they say the white meat. You know how we say Billy the white meat.
Oh,
I
yeah.
one on my left leg, two on my right. It was right when I was, modeling and stuff. So I'm going around with these band-aids on. But right before, right before I got up, I was just moaning and just sitting on the ground, just oh. I part all around. I'm just imagining somebody saw that. That was
Oh,
somebody saw that.
somebody definitely saw it.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, I saw that
Oh, sure.
somebody.
I think he just stepped out for a sec or something. I don't know what happened there.
We can
Okay,
answer this
so
next question without him.
that's
Yeah.
All right, but this is the last one before the final. What's the funniest quote you know that has a deeper meaning?
the funniest book.
The funniest quote that has deeper meaning. Oh, say it again, Shy.
Did it say the funniest book that has a
Quote.
deeper meaning?
No, the funniest quote.
If you got big
Quote.
shoes, that means you got a big
Oh,
manhood.
Say that again, Scott.
If you got big shoes, that means you got a big manhood. I call fuck.
You think that has deeper meaning?
Yeah, you think that has a deeper meaning than what it says?
Well, damn, bro. Hey, I'm a rapper, bro. So like, you know what I'm saying? I'm a 2020
No,
rapper, and I
don't
got like
excuse
triple double
it.
entendre, man. Damn, fuck.
No, don't excuse that shit for being no rapper, dude. That wasn't the point of the question, goddammit. Don't blame that on being a rapper, goddammit. I'm gonna keep checking your ass in this episode now.
I
Hey, bro, I love
did
it, bro.
this
And
one,
and
but
fuck you, Hunter, for asking these questions that I don't know the answer
There is no answer.
Dude, that's a
to.
personal question. Like for example, what he's saying is, if you know a funny quote, but that funny quote actually has deeper meaning to it. That's all he's saying.
Like
Yeah,
I've already
yeah,
said
no,
yeah.
mine.
one
Mine would be
here.
"Don't be a lasagna." It's got a deeper meaning and it's fucking hilarious.
I don't get that though. Explain.
I already explained it. Were you not listening?
No.
So
Hey,
it
wait,
means
oh,
don't
oh,
explode, don't overwhelm yourself, don't stress yourself out. You got to poke the holes in the top of the lasagna and enjoy the
Oh,
little things.
that doesn't make okay. I get it, but it doesn't make sense. Like
Don't be a
that's never.
lasagna. Do not explode. This is very self-explanatory.
hey, I'll say something real simple. Don't be a dumbass.
Ah, damn, bro. Don't be a
That,
donkey, bro. For sure.
because
I'm gonna put a
that's
tail on
fucking,
you.
because that shit is funny, but it also is real as a motherfucker. Because if you are a dumbass, life will not treat you well.
Hey, facts. That's real.
But it's also funny. You're a dumbass. Hey, what about you, Shy?
Hey,
You know what?
Yes, I do have one. Okay, I'm gonna have to go back a little bit. And people thought it was funny, but when you really think about this quote, it has the deeper meaning. But here's the quote: "Here we all do get along."
Yes, man. Peace out. Shout out to Rodney King, goddamn it. Hey.
I'm gonna need a little
That is so
explanation
great.
because I don't know what you're talking about. Can we all just get
Okay,
along?
so yeah. No, okay, so Scooby, you guys were around. This actually literally did happen before you were born. But Rodney King, I'm sure you probably hit to the name. Okay, he got beat up by the Los Angeles Police Department cops and shit. Back in like '91 or something.
Oh yeah.
All right, but when he
And
finally
the
got
cops
ushered,
got away with it.
yeah. So of course a riot ensued and shit. LA, blew up and everything, and so he went on television. And like he was in a wheelchair at the time because he was still fresh from his wounds and everything, and he got to and then I think a news commentator asked him a question about what was going on, and he just simply said, but he kind of said it real nervous like, and he was like, "Can't we all just get along?" And he
Yo,
meant that
okay,
shit.
okay. Now I know what
And,
you're talking
I mean,
about. 100.
he
percent
meant that shit, but because he said it in this nervous way, people always made fun of the way he said it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, comedians would start using it and shit in their like
I mean,
dialogue and shit like
you
that.
you guys, you had to have been there. I mean, because it became like a cultural phenomenon, like how they say. I mean,
It did.
everybody was saying, "Can we all just get along?" And it's the way he said it, and knowing what happened to him, and he had like such a deep feeling, and it was such a innocent, kind of childish quote, but it's such a like, yeah. I mean, why can't we all just get along? I mean,
Right.
it's very true, you know.
Yeah,
So
and
I mean, so
that's
people,
where like the confusion came when you said that. I was like, I did not know y'all was gonna go there, or that was the quote that he said. But like, can we all just get along? It's a real ass fucking quote. But I remember seeing him actually say it, and like Bill said, it was very nervously, and like I don't know, he was
And I think
flustered
like
with it when he said it.
I think the way Shy like was explaining it, it was like the simplicity of it. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying? Because it's like that's something that a child would say. Can't we all just get along?
that's
You
real,
know?
bro.
But it's a fucking real ass statement. Like I told you about, I always felt that "Life Is But a Dream" is the deepest song ever written,
No
and it's a
cap.
fucking nursery song. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Man, 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 life is but a dream. That's some real shit, but it's a goddamn nursery song.
Yeah, bro. And
But anyway,
just to, you know what I'm saying, just like throw it out there, you know what I'm saying? I'm a positive motherfucker, and sometimes the positive shit I say be like, I say some real shit between all the bullshit. I might be wrong sometimes, or I might be right sometimes, just like all that shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, who wrote that song? You know what I'm saying? Life is but a dream. Period.
who wrote what now?
Who wrote Row 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 Your Boat? Was it a
Oh
person,
shit,
or
I
is
don't
that just
fucking
like a
know.
like a folktale song? You know?
I mean, at the end of the day, somebody wrote it. I just don't know who. You know what I'm saying? It's just like somebody wrote fucking Mary Had a Little Lamb. Somebody wrote Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. You know what I'm saying? Somebody wrote that shit. But what I'm getting at is the simplicity of the message. You know what I'm saying? Like how simple that shit is. It's like it's a
Exactly.
child's sentiment, but it's deeper. But anyway, man, let's not keep. We're getting too deep as it is.
I know, bro.
Okay,
Hey, bro.
I'm just gonna answer the question, and I have no idea how to pronounce his name, so I'm probably butchering it. The guy who wrote "Row Row Row Your Boat" is Elliot Oram Light.
That makes sense though. Like that seems what his name
What
is.
the hell shit?
That's
What
crazy.
was he from?
Um,
To me, it's like an ego check. You know what I'm saying?
he's
I
from
like that shit
Pennsylvania.
as a young person.
He's from Pennsylvania, and his name is what?
El- Eliphalet Black.
Oh,
This last
damn,
name's
man.
way too long.
That man's name sounds like an event.
All right. For this final question, it's a little deeper. There's a max of 3 people. Who would you choose as a dinner guest if you can invite anyone, real, fake, dead, alive, anyone?
Anyone?
Anyone. But you can choose 3 people. 3 people out of anyone in the world.
Alive, dead, fictional, whatever, right?
Yep.
I got my 3: Tupac, Mac Miller, and Bill Perry.
Oh,
Not you,
shit,
Bill. I ain't
that's
gonna lie.
love.
I'm talking about your dad. Real shit.
Hey, either way,
Hey,
that's
you
love.
know,
That's love.
I get to talk to you on a daily basis. I want to, you know what I'm saying, see what them motherfuckers got to talk about that shit. Along in that conversation. But yeah, that's me.
See, I had said Mac Miller, but I'm going to choose somebody else.
But
Hey,
then
I feel you. I feel that's what's up, man. That's
Mac Miller.
My 3 were Frank Morris, if you know him from
man.
Alcatraz Escape.
That's interesting.
Lee Harvey Oswald. I
Like
want to know
that.
if he did it. And Socrates.
Uh huh. Nice. I think for me, it would have to and now mind you, like, even the 3 that I say, I could think of a list of motherfuckers, but if I'm relegated to 3, I guess Miles Davis,
Ooh.
um, um, oh fuck, maybe Aristotle, maybe, or some philosopher. I would say Aristotle, okay, because I gotta have a musician, I need to have a philosopher, and I gotta have a comedian. So throw Richard Pryor in that motherfucker to keep the laughs coming.
What was that last one, Bill?
Richard Pryor, because you gotta have somebody to keep the laughs. Because it's like if I got a
Yeah.
philosopher
Hey,
and I
Bill.
got a heavy ass musician like Miles, I need a fucking comedian to break up the monotony. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, this is why I fuck with you, bro, because you give like educated answers, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, my answer was just very whimsical. Your answer was educated. You know what I'm saying? Like, I fucks with that shit. Like, you had all dynamics.
Yeah, I mean, you know, whatever.
Hey, you know what it is?
Well, what about you, Shy?
Oh, this is hard to pick. It's really hard, but I would have to say for, um, of course, there would have to be somebody in music. So that's very hard for me to pick right now. But I guess I'm going with, oh, Billy. Mom just told me that Sylvester Stallone is dead.
No shit.
What?
No, whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, what?
That's a whole mood killer.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just got a text. She just told me that. Somebody
Ain't no
look
way,
that up.
yo.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get
Hunter,
thrown
look,
off right
yeah.
now, but the text
Hunter,
just
look it up.
came.
What they
oh,
said.
well, yeah, look that up right now. Come
But
on.
she said natural causes. She said natural
No.
Oh,
causes.
I still want to hear your answer, though. Don't be trying to diffuse
what?
the situation, but I'm kind of curious. There's no way this motherfucker's dead.
No,
Because
he's
I've heard a
not
lot of
dead.
fake people being dead.
Exactly, because that's what she just told me.
Hunter just said he's not dead.
Either that or the news hasn't come out yet. But according to what I'm looking at right now, he's not dead.
What the fuck, yo? Yo, fuck y'all for doing that shit,
Look
bro.
at
Like,
the
that's some
most
real
current thing. Are
pussy
you looking
shit.
at the
Like,
most current thing?
and nah, it ain't even no pussy shit. That's some real asshole shit.
The most crazy like that. Well, again, we don't know what's going on. I
I
mean,
don't
we're
know.
like doing this podcast. You know, the shit's probably happening.
But, like, the internet is pretty fucking fast. Like,
Some must have came across on the internet or something.
exactly, yeah, yeah. But I would
Something
dispute
like
that
that.
if it came
Because
across Hunter's website and it was real, it would come across Hunter's web search. I want to look it up too, bro. I got a computer right here. I'm about to look it up too. There's no way, bro.
dude, I wish I had a laptop. I would have
One of his
put it up.
co-stars died.
He died?
No, one of his
No,
co-stars
co-star,
died.
co-star.
His First
Oh,
Blood
damn,
co-star
bro. Shit.
Brian Denny.
Okay. I mean, that's all right.
Dude.
But damn,
Oh
gone, man. You
yeah,
know what I'm
dude,
saying?
bro.
Okay,
Damn,
now
that was
that's
long
what it
Dude,
ago.
was.
That was long
Brad
ago.
Dinner, he died like yesterday or some shit, or 2 days ago or something. It ain't today.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, but see?
Because
See,
like
so,
he was his
Yeah, I
co-star
don't
in,
know what that was, but that's
he was his co-star in Rambo.
Yep.
Rambo? Which
Yeah,
Rambo?
First
the
Blood.
first one. He was the main cop that was trying to track him down.
Okay.
But God damn it, Jimmy, he died like yesterday or 2 days ago. But anyway, okay, good.
Yeah,
Sylvester
hey,
Stallone's
yo,
alive.
this is
That's good.
isolation though. Like, no cap. This is like
Yeah, I don't know
everybody
why that
finding
was
shit
sent
out
to
on the
my.
internet and like not really being able to figure out what the fuck is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's isolation. Like, I don't know. I
What
want to
was
get a
that you just
final
said,
question.
Shaq?
I just wanted to bring it back for a second. Like, knowledge being
I
like
can't really hear.
No, I was saying, what was that point? That last point you just said because I didn't hear you.
me.
Oh, I said I don't know why that came across, on my phone. I had to just look it up.
Well, maybe it was when you saw it, maybe the complete text was like maybe it was Sylvester Stallone's co-star or something like that, and maybe you just saw Sylvester Stallone's name, and you know what I'm saying? Like,
No,
maybe
well,
it just
mom sent me the text, so it was something that she saw. So maybe she just saw something wrong. I don't know.
People
there
lie
are
on the
people out there
internet
that
all the time. Like, we were
you
talking
know.
about this earlier, kind of, sort of, not lying on the internet, but there's a lot of shit
Hey,
that's on
let's
there that's
answer this
not fucking
question
true.
and end it, and we can hold this conversation for another day because I do got some other stuff to do.
Word, I agree.
We've been going for almost 2 hours now. We need to end this.
And that's what you
Yeah.
get when you get Bridging the Gap with Bill Perry,
Well, she
Cheryl
needs to answer her
Perry,
question.
Jeff
That
Mack, and
question.
Scooby the Kid.
Hey, yeah. Great podcast. Hey, that's all I'll say. I'm glad that that we got Shy involved. But hell, if we're close to 2 hours, yeah, let's wrap this now.
But it
Yeah,
doesn't even
that's
feel like
cool.
that, which is
Fun.
weird.
But
All
this has
right.
been fun.
Oh yeah, what's the last question though? Oh,
I did.
it's actually on Shy to answer though,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
We're waiting for the answer.
Okay, about the people to have dinner with. Okay, Billie
Right.
Holiday would be one of my choices. Um, Let me think. I guess I would have to go somebody from the Pharaoh days, Nefertiti, and if I could just say my grandparents, and
I
lump them
like that.
all in one.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
That that's to the code. Yeah.
And it was straight to the
Yeah.
point too.
All right. Well,
All
that's it.
right.
That's the end of the podcast.
All right. Well, we hope that all of y'all have enjoyed this one. This was a little bit more extended because we got an extra staff member and my sister Shy here, Cheryl Perry, and this has been a lovely one. We've covered a lot of good ground. This one was about isolation, but as y'all witnessed, we've talked about a lot of things, and that's the purpose, in my opinion, of a podcast, is to express oneself, even if we deflect sometimes, and keep it interesting. And I'm excited to do the next one next week, y'all.
And if
Yeah.
you get in your isolation and you want to
Yeah,
help
this
bridge
was
the gap,
fun.
make sure you go to Bridge the Gap 77 on our platforms, at Bill Perry on our platforms, at Cheryl Perry on our platforms, at Chef Mac 1523 on 1523 on our platforms, and at Scooby the Kid 252 on our platforms.
Come
And
check out the
don't
live streams on Twitch.
and don't be scared to ask the questions that deep within yourself, because you know what they are. And it's
Oh yeah, and get back to what Hunter just said. Yeah, make sure to check out Chef Mac and Scooby the Kid
so I'll
on
fuck you up and
Twitch.
call it
Always gaming on there, and they invite people to get involved. You know what I'm saying? They'll challenge you like Scooby just did. You can get some of that games, yeah. And to just kind of bring it back as a summation to what we're talking about with isolation, that's another way to connect with people. You got people like Chef Mac and Scoob that's out here, and if you're a gamer, you can connect with them through their Twitch account as they game out. As far as myself and my sister, if you want to further engage us beyond this podcast, we're available and tangible, and you can access us online as well as the other gentlemen. So let's make the best of this isolation by, bringing about connectivity.
Bridge the Gap.
Bridging the gap, baby. Y'all